Welcome to the Fit 15 podcast show, where you'll find health and fitness inspiration, motivation, and information shared in 15-minute episodes. Tune in while getting a move on to make leading and enjoying the benefits of a healthy lifestyle almost too easy. It's the Fit 15. And now your host, Catherine Basu.
Welcome to the Fit 15 podcast show. I'm your host, Catherine Basu, and today we're going to be talking about living an abundant life and how fitness plays a role in that with my guest, Michelle Carr. Michelle Carr is the creative mind behind Taste and See Life. She is a native Houstonian who sees life as an abundance of opportunities. Michelle created Taste and See Life in 2014 as a way to promote local businesses, inspire travel, and encourage readers to design their own creative adventures. From recipes and fitness challenges to travel guides and life lessons, Michelle shows readers how to live an abundant life. Welcome to the podcast, Michelle. I'm so excited to have you as my guest today.
Thank you, Catherine. I'm excited to be here.
Awesome. So one thing you focus on for your blog is showing readers how to live an abundant life. So could you maybe define for us what abundant living is, just to get us started?
Yes. Well, abundant living is it basically means that you are not limiting yourself to like the norm. For instance, if you want to, perhaps you were an accountant all your life, and deep in your heart, you always knew you were an artist. I mean, what is to say that you can't be both?
Mm-hmm.
So I believe you could have an abundant life just by living out everything that God has given you, talent-wise, and whether that means giving back to the community or helping others or having a side hustle. There's more to life than just, living a career.
Sure. No, I love that. So kind of leaning into the things that you're passionate about and not limiting yourself based on what other people might say or even just one passion that you might have.
Exactly.
I love that. So you've been working on living an abundant lifestyle. How has doing that changed your life? And maybe can you share with us a little bit more about your story?
Yes. So when I was working full-time as a senior programmer and system analyst, I was in this career for about 14 years. And I mean, I was gung-ho about it when I initially started, and work kind of consumed me, and I lost focus of who I was.
Sure.
Because, I was in the rat race in the, work, sleep, eat, I was in that cycle, and I was frustrated because I could not get out. I didn't see a way out. And as the economy, shifted back in 2009, our labor force was cut. We went down from about 15 programmers to 3 programmers.
Wow.
And we had the same workload.
Wow.
And I mean, okay, so I'm getting the same pay. I'm working, extra hours, and I'm salaried. And I was like, this is not right. There has to be more to life than what I'm doing now. And that's when I decided that I was going to make a change in life. And I think that's where your abundant living comes from. When you decide, okay, I need to make a plan to change my life because I don't like what's going on. I don't like my current status, and change needs to happen.
Well, as an entrepreneur and business owner myself, I've definitely been there and had that same experience of feeling like there had to be a better way, but not really knowing what that might be and feeling a little bit unsure about it. So I wonder if you could talk to the listeners about your journey in regards to that. wanting there to be a way out, but maybe not seeing the full picture yet and how to navigate that transition?
It all takes with just small steps. You don't have to have all the answers. You just take one step at a time. And for me, it was writing. Writing was my outlet. I never thought I was a writer at all. My grades, in English grades, they were not exactly, I mean, they were B, C level, but nothing I would consider, oh, Michelle's an art, they're a great writer. But, you know, I was looking through Twitter one day and I saw this course and I subscribed to the course, registered for it, and it was a writing boot camp. And it was like a 1 week intensive boot camp. And I didn't know exactly who the instructor was, but I mean, this man changed my life. The goal was to write 1,000 words per day. And he would give you a writing prompt, and all you had to do was brain dump whatever you wanted to write about. But you had to use those prompts. And, you know, after the course, he would allow us an hour phone call to go through each of the assignments. And from that point, he gave me the encouragement and said, I love your writing. I never thought that you could use this reference. And I really love how you were able to capture your feelings. And I mean, that was like the seed that I needed to grow.
Sure.
And from that point, I decided, I'm going to start a blog. And from that point, I was like, okay, I'm going to go to a blogger conference. And from that point, I met the marketing director of Select Registry. And, I had blog assignments. I was traveling to California and around Texas, and that led to freelance jobs, photographing interior designs and stuff like that.
Hi, friends. If you're joining us and only have 15 minutes and are on an out and back walk, you want to turn around now. We're 7.5 minutes into the episode. All right, back to Michelle.
So as long as you're able to take that first step, you don't know which doors are going to expand and open when you allow yourself that freedom.
Sure. No, that's really great advice. And do you think, I guess, I love how you shared that you didn't really consider yourself or would have maybe labeled yourself a writer before. It was just something that looked interesting and, maybe brought you joy in the moment to try out the course. So I really love that, we might be sitting here and having these ideas of something that might be fun that could develop into a career. I mean, could you chat about how that experience has been of just going from, thinking about it as something fun and how we could maybe follow that ourselves or...
Exactly. I mean, it started with curiosity. I mean, everything that I've done, I was like, ooh, that looks interesting. I wonder if I can do that. I was not a photographer, I was a programmer. Before I even started programming, my degree was in marketing. So I, thought, programming looks interesting. So I became a programmer. And then I kind of evolved, writing sounds fun. Let's explore that avenue. And so I picked up photography. Luckily, my brother's a professional photographer, and he's like, told me what camera to buy and gave me some tips. And, it was like baby bird was launched out of that nest. And I mean, I took flight. I was like, this is fun, and regardless of what people say, because you're always going to have critics in whatever you do, you're going to have somebody, giving their advice or their comments. I say no. No, you do what it's right for you.
Mm-hmm.
So you just, cast aside people's expectations because that is their life. They're not living your life. They don't know what makes you tick. They don't know what's going on, with your family, your pressures. So if something is giving you joy, it's going to give you that creative, abundant life that you're looking for.
Mm-hmm. And I don't know if you've ever heard of Sean Aker, who's an author, but also has a really good TED Talk.
Sean Aker?
Yep.
Okay, I'll have to look him up.
You're going to have to look him up. So I'm kind of obsessed with him, but so he's a positive psychologist. And what he talks about is, we often think in society, our society teaches us that we need to be successful. And often that's by, society's definition, right? In order to be happy. But the truth is that we have to be happy to have success. So I see that in your story, right? Following along these things that you're curious about or passionate about and having that, be able to bring you your success versus, trying to be in this mold of what people told you is what you should be doing, right? So.
I mean, exactly, Catherine, because if you try to fit that mold, it's going to make you depressed and unsatisfied. You're going to feel unfulfilled. And I mean, there's no secret recipe for life. You just have to live it, and live it in a way that is going to be productive and positive, and you give back to society in some way. Because the more you give, the more that you're going to feel that fulfillment. So,
sure.
And it doesn't necessarily have to be monetary giving, but at least sharing of your experiences. I mean, maybe there was a story that you were, whatever that story is, there could be, 10 other people that can relate to your same story, and they want to know how did you get through this tough time?
Right. No, for sure. And I love that concept too of giving, not just being, monetary or even time. I think it kind of comes back to what we've been chatting about so far anyways, but the fact that being yourself, like not living that normal life or going with the flow by giving your full self, like showing up that way and being present and being your best self because you're exploring things that are interesting to you is a good way to give back. And, when you're connecting with someone in the real world out there and they're happy and, for whatever reason, I mean, it's probably tied back to, them working on themselves and working on their passions and doing that versus, trying to fit in with everything else. So giving by being yourself and being true to yourself, I think is an important thing too.
Exactly. And I read something from like Mel Robbins this morning about saying no. And, you're saying no to certain things in life. Like you can say no to partying all night with your friends when you could be doing something more constructive and, listening to podcasts or TED Talks or, studying up on a new skill set that you've been wanting to learn, whether it's graphic design or, creative writing, whatever that, skill is, you have to make a choice to enhance your life. So if there's like a certain group that is, weighing on your heart, I mean, and I'm speaking personally because, there are some friends that I had to let go, and it really hurt me because they weren't looking after my best interest.
Sure.
And, you can't take everybody with you when you're heading north.
Right. No, that's true. That's true. That's true. And sometimes you never know. Like, I mean, you could go both ways if you weren't able to let go of that friendship and it was kind of holding you back. Or at some point by leading by example, you might become reconnected with those friends if they make a change themselves, right? So there's that too, I feel like.
True. And I still, pray for them and everything. It's not that I'm like, oh, I hate you. No, that's not the case. It's just that at this space time in my life, I need a certain circle to develop with.
Mm-hmm. No, absolutely. So I know one thing you talk about on your blog is fitness, which is also kind of the theme of the podcast, which, we can talk about health and fitness with physical fitness, but also other aspects of our overall health. But why do you think fitness in particular is an important element in maintaining an abundant lifestyle?
Absolutely. I think it is paramount that fitness is on your top things to do every day. Whether it's going for a walk, doing yoga, taking a spin class, whatever that exercise is because, like you said, you have to move. Your body has to move. Your mind has to release, and that's where you get your creativity from. And I mean, I live. It's part of my lifestyle. I go to the gym practically every day. If not, I'm outside doing some sort of, running or walking, some sort of physical activity. So.
And has it always been something that you've been drawn to, or?
Yes, in fact, it has. I've always been part of. I used to get up when I lived at home in high school. My dad is a military man.
Okay.
I would wake up at 5 a.m. to go run with him. We would run 5 miles in the morning before work in school. So we always had that athletic gene in us. And then later I became a Pilates instructor, and I really loved teaching my classes because the ladies would always look for advice, and they would. And Pilates is one of those exercises that you kind of release and open, and you kind of de-stress. So it's very emotional, and it does help the abs and everything, but it also clears the mind. So things that people were holding on to, they were able to let that go and discuss in confidence with me what was going on in their life. So at some point I was like, wow, this is like really therapeutic for them. So I enjoyed that too.
Yeah. No, I love how fitness, often people, at least people that come to me for help, as being a personal trainer, it might be about the physical, that physical things they're trying to work on initially, but that's not why I stick with it. And I think, once you see people being able to experience some of those other benefits for themselves, it's really rewarding. So I love that you share that, and you've been able to experience that when you were a Pilates instructor. That's really cool.
And another thing, I also reflect back on my fitness growth. I used to run half marathons. And that training for my first marathon, initially I could not run past 6 miles. I had this mental block. And, so I trained with somebody, and this is really important for the abundant living and life in general, that when you're training with somebody, you always want to partner up with somebody that has already been there, done that, and experienced, where you want to go. And so I was running with a partner that was a marathon runner, and he was like, Michelle, I know this is difficult to get past the 6 mile mark, but you just have to breathe through it. I mean, right now you have a mind block, but once you get past this milestone, you'll find that you'll be able to finish the half marathon, no problem. And sure enough, I mean, once I crossed 7 miles, I mean, it was on. I was like lightning bolt. I was like, what was I thinking? And I looked back and I laughed because I've referenced that one strategic time. I mean, I can tell you exactly where I was when that happened, and everything that I've done from, changing careers and leaving my job, and, my life changes. I look back at that one point that I was able to cross over. And that's very important, that, a lot of the blocks that we have in life, that's what they are. They're mental. And as long as you're able to break those boundaries, I think you can, whatever your fitness goals or life goals are, I think you can achieve them, whether it's like losing weight or running your first marathon. I think that's the key.
I love that you shared that. And I definitely have found for myself and for clients that there really is a great power in overcoming a block in your fitness journey and having that cross over to other areas of your life. So yeah, I'm with you. I encourage people to, like you said, it doesn't have to be running a marathon. It can just be, maybe you're not currently like doing anything and just trying to, get yourself, like maybe find something you enjoy, right? Because that can be a block in and of itself, that fitness is not fun, right? So just finding something you enjoy and seeing how that can change things for you as well.
And I mean, I tell people, on the blog too, about, fitness challenge. You don't have to go to spin class. If that is not your cup of tea, then try a step class, try tennis. There's so many activities that you can do, and don't consider it as weight loss. I always like to position it as a fun activity that, especially if I have friends, that makes a world of a difference if I have a little community with me, because then it's more of, I'm going to see, Jessica and Pam, and, sometimes we'll go out to have a cocktail afterwards.
Sure. Sure. No, that's good. And yeah, you're right. When you, because I've had this with clients, and you just focus on the weight loss part, I mean, it adds to your stress as well. So which is not going to help you achieve that goal, right? So even if that is a primary goal, it can be counterproductive to focus on that.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, Michelle, I really enjoyed chatting with you, and I'm excited to, continue to follow the blog. For the listeners' benefit, can you share where they can best connect with you and possibly anything that you have coming up?
They can follow me on Instagram at Taste and See Life, or on Facebook, same thing, Taste and See Life. And of course, the blog at tasteandseelife.com. And I'm always writing about, it's either food, something with like food swaps, a healthier version. I will be getting back into fitness. So I'm working on my recertification. So that will be fun. Yes.
Cool.
So I'll be teaching at second. And hopefully I'll be able to add more tips and tricks in how to stay active.
Oh, I love that. Well, I'm excited to follow that journey of yours for sure. And I really appreciate you taking the time to inspire our listeners and talk about leading an abundant life today.
Thank you, Catherine. It's fun.
Thanks for listening to the Fit 15. For show notes and more, visit fitarmadillo.com/podcast. See you next time.
Hi friends, it's Catherine, and before I let you go, I wanted to let you know about 2 fitness challenges, since Michelle and I mentioned that, and Michelle likes doing fitness challenges herself. The first is the Fit Armadillo 1 mile a day October fitness challenge. It's totally free to join. All you have to do to be a part of it is, you guessed it, log a mile a day any way you want. Run, bike, swim. It's up to you. Skip. I don't really care how you do it. Just get that mile in. Once you do, make sure you post about it and use the hashtag 1mileaday and tag my fitness company, Fit Armadillo, the sponsor of the show, so I know that you logged your mile and can cheer you on. If you're more of a pen and paper type of person, you can head over to the show notes for the October 1st episode of the Fit 15 and download a printable calendar tracker for the length of the challenge. So that can be found over at fitarmadillo.com/podcast, and just going to October 1st, the episode I did with Catherine and Donald Weigel. The second fitness challenge is kind of a top secret challenge, so I'm glad that you listened to the end, so that this is getting out to just the more savvy people, savvy listeners, and that is a challenge I'm doing at Fit Armadillo. It's a drop 1 dress size challenge. So I've opened this up just to followers and fans that had asked about the challenge but weren't able to make it during the full version. And I've also opened it up to Michelle's followers. So head over to Michelle's page to find out how to sign up if you did not get an invite yet. And we will start on Monday of next week. So I'm really excited for that. Would love to have you join us for some extra motivation and help getting on track before the busy holiday season. As always, thank you so much for listening to the podcast. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe so I can chat with you tomorrow and help keep you motivated with my next awesome guest. And be sure to leave a review on iTunes and/or Stitcher to make my day and help other people find the podcast. I know we're running a little bit long today, but I wanted to just give a shout out to my followers and subscribers over on Podbean. I am now up to 1,200 followers. So I really appreciate those of you on Podbean who have been following along and supporting me. Thank you so much. It means so much to me. And please reach out. Let me know what topics and guests you would like to have me cover. Send me an email, podcast@fitarmadillo.com, so I can make that happen and show my appreciation by sharing topics that are of interest to you. All right, guys, if you subscribe, I will chat with you tomorrow. Have a great day, and don't forget to get that mile in. Bye.